Huh, what's going on? Oh, it's a little thing. Oh my god,
Well,
it's so
well,
cute.
An Arrayus. How delightful.
They're so cute. Oh. Oh, hello.
And what, pray tell, is that?
That's what I'm saying. This thing, oh, this is like shark.
That's a new species of shark. We approved the concept but a few days ago.
What was that show called? Remember that cartoon with the shark people? They were like shark bros or something. Like they're, you know what I mean? Shark Tales? I don't know.
Sharks are among the most popular sea creatures. Rare is the day when someone does not submit a new concept. At first, they were largely orthodox. And then a whimsical someone thought to bestow it. And then the floodgates burst. Concepts with multiple and so on and so forth. It was a part of me wanted to tell them to go away and find something else to create. But in the end, I couldn't deny their passion. And here we are.
All right, here. I like how he just kept talking and talking. I knew that was gonna happen. Sharks popular these days. Oh. Who dat? Oh, it's the person with the hair.
That was too close. Are you unharmed?
This is like the Heidelin person.
Well now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Banar, that we should meet you here.
Vina. Oh, yeah. That's what it was. Vina. I kept reading it as Vinat. Okay. I'm trying to remember. I'm missing. There's so much lore, so much details. Okay. There's Vinat, and Azim, right? Who I believe are they supposed to be the same person? Like, are we Vinat? Is Azim like is Vinat? You know what I'm talking about? But basically, this is Heidelin. This is the Heidelin form that we saw, meaning this should be us right here, right? This. Yeah. See, on the ship, yeah. MSQ will address it all, but that's something we already know, right?
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star.
Yeah.
Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work.
Okay. I think it's kind of addressing.
Vanar is her name, and she is the previous Azim.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay. Now it's becoming more clear to me now.
It has been a while, Hythlodaeus. You look well.
Nah.
Less so, Emet Selk. I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number. A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Okay, so my question is, so it's always been stated and hinted at that Azim and Emet Selk, friends, right? Get along. Emet Selk would go out of their way to help, etc. Things like that. Was that with the current Azim or this Vina Azim here? Because clearly there's two different people who are. I mean, this was the previous Azim. Now there's a current Azim. I'm assuming it's the Vina, right? Because we've heard that name.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
Okay, happy smiley faces. We're gonna talk about the unruly successor.
How is he, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am. Now then, you are?
Do you not see the resemblance? Oh.
say, have you perchance come from the future?
Perchance? What if I just say perchance? Perchance, yeah, perchance.
I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Therefore, if I wove the enchantment, I could only have done so at a later point in time.
I feel like we're just, you know, we're learning about like our birth. You know what I mean right now? Like this is the story of how you were born. And it comes down to you were an enchantment.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much, right? And I figured it had to, you know, be something like that because the idea of the warrior of light, you know, rebirth, kind of like Minfilia on the first, right? Like reborn through the generations.
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether.
The traveler's ward that prevents the corruption. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. That's why we haven't succumbed. That sounds rather like the blessing of light.
I see you are not ignorant to its presence. And while there are many protective spells, the one you bear is unmistakably mine.
Mommy?
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
I am. I was just getting lost in your eyes. I mean, it's the Heidelin ice. It's the Minfilia blue, you know.
Your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours.
Yeah. I'm sure you all understand, right? Given how smart you must be.
That you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past bespeaks the gravity of your quest.
This is crazy. This is crazy right now.
Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
I just got a weird thought, like one of those time loop things. What if us, even though I don't think we will, but what if us revealing our quest is what caused the final days? You know what I mean? Like us trying to fix the final days, and by doing so, revealing the final days is what causes the final days. Wouldn't that be crazy? Oh my god. But we can't say anything. Don't say anything, Kev.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself.
I have, yes. I have.
I've been working here for some days now at an old friend's behest.
Oh, who's the old friend? Who's the old friend? I want to know.
If it is agreeable, we may make use of my accommodation at Poiton Oikos.
Was it the Hermes? Or the Fandaniel?
We were meant to meet. I am certain of it.
Shit. Or what if us...
Else I wouldn't have marked you so clearly and sent you unto myself in the past.
Yeah, I'm thinking in circles now, but I was thinking like, what if us coming to the past is what causes Vina here to do the enchantment to ensure that we're in the future to come back to the past, you know, or something like that, you know.
It's precisely the sort of mischief I would get up to, and quite inspired, if I do say so myself.
She's awesome. I like her. Can I just say how, oh my god, it's so exciting to see her here. It's all coming together. I mean, sort of, but I still have a lot of questions. Mainly like the cause of the final day. Like we know the cause of the final days, but what's the cause of that, right? I've often been asked to do so. Traveling and searching go hand in hand. We'll go with that one. Because it's kind of like Asm, right? Traveler, you travel often then. It seems we have something in common, yeah? I told you, mate. Oh my god, it is crazy. Long ago, when I held the seat of Asm, how long ago though? I was forever trekking back and forth across the star in search of answers to people's problems. It's like us. But this arc has been crazy. We haven't done any fighting. We haven't, you know, done anything, you know, we haven't saved the day, blah, blah, blah. Like, haven't fought any trials, dungeons, whatever. It's just been lore and more lore. And I'm all about that. You need to be nervous around Vina. Those white robes mark her as one of the fair and impartial reasoning. That's good. Aside from the emissary, oh, that's true. Aside from the emissary Elidibus, such garb is worn only by those who have stepped down from public office to serve as advisors. Whatever you have to say, she will listen without judgment. Oh, she looks so pure. This is the Heidelin that we know.
Now then, will you tell us your tale?
Okay, are we actually gonna spill the beans here? If we're gonna spill it, we might as well, you know, use the proper terminology. A calamity called the Final Days has befallen the world. This one's pretty good too. The world has been sundered, but you know, Final Days. We'll name drop that.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
Kind of are starting from the beginning by us being here. This is kind of the beginning, I feel like. You know what I mean? All right. So one day, right, I was on this caravan with this merchant, and there are these two twins, and we're traveling through this little desert to this city called Ul'dah, and then these Amaja came up, and they're like, "Hey, you got the stuff on the thing?" And we're like, "No." And then I ended up in Ul'dah, and then I started putting up posters, and then I went to the Thaumaturge Guild, and I learned from these things called Lalafels, these little short people, about black magic. And then I met Raban, and I met the Sultana, and they told me about these warriors. I had these visions, and oh, we're going through. Oh, yo, dude, we're spilling all the beans. Yo, this is crazy. I really want to see what they think of this. Oh, that's the Emet Selk part. Like, you, Emet Selk, you and I have had dealings in the future. Yep, Zodiac Warrior of Life story. Yeah, I just got the chills. This is like this moment in time right now.
Utterly preposterous.
This moment in time right now is defying everything that should happen and could be the cause of everything that's supposed to happen. Like this one specific moment in time.
While not the words I would have chosen, I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous.
Well,
what of you, Vanar?
She knows though. She's like, my magic is on this dude. This is my enchantment. Like, I put this enchantment on him at some point for a reason. Right? This makes sense, right?
Not knowing the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself why I would do what I did.
Did we explain everything?
Why would I feel I had no recourse?
Okay.
But to oppose the 14 and create this Heidelin?
This is crazy shit. Yo, who would have thought we would have been here?
No. There must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis flower, which I said would serve as a guide.
The emotional energy, dynamis.
Its of import to your mission is plain, but your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Why do I get the feeling that us telling them is like the trigger, the start of the final days?
In the future whence he came, the final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star.
Yeah?
By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
Maybe. I guess. Like, we were supposed to come here without that intent, but maybe she knew, like, this would happen at some point, and then you would tell me.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility.
But that doesn't sound... that's probably not it, though.
Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically.
That's true. Could have just been guided to, you know, somewhere else in the past where she was. Just talk to her directly.
The capital and Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
I guess it's kind of obvious, right? But you wanted us to come here to Elpis to learn more about the dynamis and its emotional energy, etc. That has to be like the root of all this, or a
By
big part of it.
this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge, coincidental though it may seem.
Did she want us to come here so we could meet? Like I'm kind of liking this idea more and more. Did she want us to come here so we could meet Hermes? I'm liking the idea that Hermes and his out of the box thinking so different from the other Ashians, and his pursuit of knowledge and dynamis is the root of the final days in some sense.
But we do have one immutable fact.
I wonder what the players like, what all the players like headspace was around this point in time here.
If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all that I hold dear.
Yeah, they will. It's the end, pretty much. I was kind of confused because a little bit strictly said not to interfere. I mean, have we technically interfered? I guess we have interfered. Yeah, this is pretty much interfering by telling people why we're here, right? Because now they know something's about to happen.
Nay, my first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
I mean, you kind of did by keeping Zodiark in check and holding him in that prison for such a long time, but eventually that failed.
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
I don't know. Speechless. I guess let's just continue. See what they say.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale?
So here's what I'm wondering, like, in the time in our past, when we first met Emet Selch and then we fought Emet Selch and we did all those things with Emet Selch, to him, like, he knew us not only through Azim and Vana, but through us technically coming to his past at some point, right? And seeing us there, right? So that kind of makes that whole relationship a little more dynamic, knowing that we were here, that we actually met him in the past.
Well, I will not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity. I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman.
Well, I guess there's not much I could say to that, but you are kind of maniacal. You already are kind of maniacal.
To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this Zodiark in the highest esteem. You claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory.
But now we know, like, he kind of did it to, no pun intended, to show us the light, right? Show us the way, show us the history, because he knew who we were, right? That was my understanding, to kind of guide us.
Worse still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable?
Because, man, you're a good guy.
I will allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren. You do not know me.
No, we don't, man. You're a very interesting character. That's why part of me was like, you know, what if us doing the things that we're doing here right now is what sets everything in motion?
I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again.
He's so upset by that. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, right?
Emet Selch, wait!
Dynamis is the key to all this. It's the key to all this. I mean, Hermes and Medion are also, but Dynamis is the root. Dynamis is key to all of this.
Yes, I believe this warrants further investigation.
Yeah. Yeah, we came here for you sent us here for a reason. This is all so we could meet Hermes and learn about Dynamis. That's what I believe.
With that settled, it is time for action. Have faith. If Emet Selk is the man Azum described to me, we've not seen the last of him.
No, we haven't. Also, I mean, Emet Selk is the narrator too for our current arc. Usually the narrators, you know, they're up to some big things. What kind of person is Hermes? Or what are Hermes' interests? I think we know what kind of person he is. I think we have a pretty good idea of who Hermes is as a person, but I think what's more important to understanding Hermes and Dynamis and potentially the events leading up to the final days and all that is understanding his interests, which again we kind of know, but if there's any specifics I think that'll be good. What are Hermes' interests? His interests? Well, he is an authority on flying life forms and has expansive knowledge of living creatures in general. Is that what you wish to know? I mean, yeah. How would you describe him as a person, as a colleague? He's a quiet man, reserved you might say, and occasionally somewhat poor with his choice of words. Well, he is, yeah, he's a quiet, he may seem like a quiet and reserved person, but we know he's harboring a lot of, you know, turmoil and emotions on the inside that, you know, people of this time, like, shouldn't necessarily be feeling, right? Because they are, you know, this is the perfect world, right? There's no room to harbor those doubts and just emotions that stray from the pure path, right? But he has some of those. He's more vulnerable. His reticent nature, however, does not prevent him from carrying out his duties as chief overseer. He's very empathetic to his work and the beings, whether they are technically living or not. The beings that he overseers and all that too. Let's to go with the abilities, right? Because that's the energy, it's the emotional conduit. That's the Dynamis track right there. Do you know of Medion's abilities? It's no secret that she is a highly unusual familiar. Of late, the chief often makes his rounds with her like a mother hen raising her chick. I understand that she is able to read emotions and communicate directly with one's mind. Exactly how she was created with that talent, however, is a mystery to me. My apologies. I wish I could explain her nature in more depth, but I've not had occasion to discuss it with Chief Hermes. I mean, I'm just kind of spitballing. I'm assuming maybe he used studying the properties of the flower, using like the I don't know, the flower's DNA or something, like the nature of the flower and putting that into familiar form or using part of that. What do you think of Chief Hermes' flying creations? What sets the Chief's creations apart, however, is how they benefit from his boundless knowledge of the celestial realm. Yo, we're getting to something here. The celestial realm, I forget what they call it. I call it ley lines, celestial lines. So, and he's studying the celestial, he's looking at the stars, like, yeah, I sent her sisters out to, you know, explore the stars and all that. What if I swear, I feel like this might, like, his research or whatever of the celestials, something about it is, maybe there was a trigger that corroded those lines. Anyway, I could tell you more of Medion's nature if you like. No. He's gonna be like, no, don't tell me. Do you know of Dynamis and Entelekis? That's the trigger words right there. Dynamis and Entelekis. Oh, you don't know, bro? You never heard of the Dynamis and the Entelekis? Timmy? Those terms do sound vaguely familiar. Was there not a flower made here in Elpis which exhibited properties of one or the other? Oh, okay. The flower, okay. The flower, the Elpis flower, or the flower that we know as Elpis. Two parts. One, I thought maybe it was just a naturally occurring flower in this land, but two, it sounds like it was made here. It was, someone made the flower to do that. But three, is everything here kind of just a creation? Are the trees a creation? Is the grass a creation? What came first, the creation or the Ambrodian? Is everything that we see here just a creation? I guess philosophically or religiously or spiritually, is this not all just a creation? Anyway, it seems that no,
maybe a lot of people, if they're not fully aware of Elpis, maybe just in passing they're kind of aware of Elpis, meaning maybe they know that there's like, oh yeah, someone made this flower here that could kind of like sense emotions. I was kind of under the impression that everyone was like, oh, Meteon, she does this thing with emotions. Clearly, you know, this flower also does that. Maybe, you know, that was the, I mean, maybe that's the secret sauce, right? The secret juice. But I guess it's not as obvious as that. I'm still thinking that's probably what's going on here, right? It has to be connected in some way. Hermes' colleagues view Meteon as his personal project and could provide no details beyond those which you just told me. Which leads me to believe that the only person with any significant knowledge of Dynamis is Hermes himself. Okay, I feel like the plot thickens and the roads are pointing to, I feel like all roads point to Hermes. At present, the strongest link we have to the final days is the power of Dynamis and the Entelekis which can control it. I guess I never really thought of it in that way. That Entelekis control Dynamis. I just thought maybe they were more sensitive in sensing the Dynamis. Huh, okay. I'm gonna start thinking of it in that way. Happy Mother's Day. You guys do anything? You just had some cake at home. Ooh, that sounds good.
What is it like in the future? Is the world still a beautiful place?
Is the world still a beautiful place? Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world in the future, but it's still a beautiful world. As beautiful as ever. We'll go with that. As beautiful as ever. Aside all the, you know, calamities and imminent destructions, but you know.
I swear I could hear the glimmer in your eyes and the adoration in your voice.
Vana is such a cool character. Or actually see, like, I guess, you know, the avatar of Hydaelyn, or how we've seen Hydaelyn, just is very surreal being here. Surreal talking to everyone else like Emet Selk, but also Mama Hydaelyn. She sees things differently, yeah. Yeah, I mean, she was the Asm, right? And if the Asm does what the Asm does, the Asm is very traveled and has a keen eye for different experiences and cultures and different kinds of people and all that. I'm assuming all the Asms are like that, right? I'm a pessimist, so it's a nice juxtaposition with my personality in general. See, like, for me, like, I know it's just a game, but just being here with, like, Vana, even in the past here, I feel, like, comforted, you know? I feel like my character here, Kev was here, the Pomp, I feel like it's just, like, comforting being in this presence right now. Even knowing that things are about to go down, but this is also the person who's been looking after us since A Realm Reborn, right? And she's very composed and calm about things, and she's inquisitive, but you know, very composed. Whatever she ended up doing to set everything in motion in the future to bring us back here to the past, I mean, she thought ahead, like 4D chess, like 5D chess, year like in advance. Like, all right, the world's gonna end here. This is what I'm going to do.
By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans. But more than that, I have an interest simply as a fellow traveler.
Yep.
Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account.
And during this day and age, Vana was like the player character, right? Vana was going on the adventures and doing quests and side quests. I bet she hella strong too. She's gotta be hella strong. It's like Gandalf. It's the white. She's like Gandalf, right? Composed, collected, strong. Everyone looks to this person. We're going over all the adventures.
Would that I could have been there to see it.
She's like Gandalf. Yeah, this is Gandalf vibes right here.
Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word.
I'm wondering how much. I mean, I'm still thinking about the whole time loop thing. Like us coming here to the past to tell them about what happened in the future. How much is that? How much of us being here in the past to tell them that is what contributed us to being able to come to the past in the future. You get what I'm saying? We're like the chicken who went back to the egg to tell the egg how to hatch. So in the future, the chicken can also come back to the egg again or something, right? Imagine the impact fishing in the past had. Fishing? Dude, I bet there was some interesting fish here in the past too. It'd be interesting to see all the other trades and stuff that they had going on. All the other kind of professions and everything. But everything seems so centered around this creation. But this here is like the creation of like flora and fauna. What about creation of like just other things? Maybe not as what we deem organic, etc. I'm kind of curious about that too. Concepts. I'm thinking of like physical concepts, but there's also...
And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world.
There's physical concepts, and then there's also like conceptual concepts. Like, I'm curious about those as well. But yeah, the Asms, right? Sought to understand the workings of the world. They set out, traveled, helped people.
What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? Whence sprung mankind? Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them.
Well, the questions, at least we know in this world, the questions that they were asking back then are the same questions that, you know, we're asking in the present time.
Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe. We too are miracles, each and every one of us. Born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity.
I mean, maybe that's also why she's a little more hesitant to just return to the star. She's like, you know what? Like, you know, life is a miracle. Like, I'm gonna continue living it for as long as I can.
When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done.
See, that's the glass half full way to look at things. Good vibes, good vibes.
As reassuring as it was intimidating, how keenly aware I became of creation's fragility, built as it is upon precarious happenstance.
I feel like she would have great conversations with Urianger about things like this.
I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath.
Yeah, that's why she's not so eager to return back to the good old star here.
I ventured forth on a journey that very day, so very long ago now, freed from presumption and prejudice. I saw the world through a newborn's eyes, everything fresh and new, and so beautiful.
That's very poetic, right? Like the start of a new journey with new perspective and the goal of understanding the world.
Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong.
Yeah, freed from the burdens of all previous notions and preconceptions and all that.
And amidst it all a people, beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before.
Some part of that maybe triggered the whole Heidelin or Zodiark thing, or why she was like, all right, we got to do this Heidelin thing here if they're doing the Zodiark thing, like, because they're not seeing the full picture, but like I can kind of see it, and I think this is best moving forward here.
They are my meaning and my purpose, my love, and so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star.
There it is. There's the reason.
Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it.
I mean, now that she's speaking about that, I mean, when we solve everything, I'm assuming by the end of Endwalker, before we get into the patch, what's gonna happen to Heidelin? We figure out the mystery of the final days, prevent the final days from occurring again. There's no more Zodiark. What's gonna happen with Heidelin here? Would it be time to return to the star?
The moment she can let go and walk unto the end.
The moment she can let go and walk unto the end, like an Endwalker. the Endwalker? Is that what who we're referring to here in Endwalker? To Heidelin?
You, who are our future. Tell me this, and tell me true.
I feel like I'm gonna be so sentimental once this is finished. Whenever we finish Endwalker. I'm just thinking of the ending. However it ends, because it's been a long journey.
Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
They're like it's sentimental because it's like they're talking to the player right now too. I feel like these are the developers and the writers, and they're kind of fourth wall in a very good way, just talking to you as the player right here in this scene. Like, hey, how's your journey been? You been having a good time? Has it been worth it? I hope it's been worth it. I think it's been worth it.
Pray forgive my lateness.
We're just about to give the answer. Really strong dialogue to ask that question, yeah? She knows what we're gonna say. If we've been playing, if we as the players have been playing, I feel like most of the player base would be like, yeah, it's been a very good journey. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of sad that Galeen came in here and everything. I wanted the conversation to go on a little bit more. I feel like that was some really good stuff right there.
Indeed. I've an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteon. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Same, yeah.
Oh, that! Yes, I did. 'Twas in the dark of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone. Like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling.
Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Wait. If the final days is all about these shooting stars, these falling stars. I mean, and the inverse of that is Meteon sisters, climbing high into the celestial skies. Like a shooting star, a rising star. I'm just thinking about that process because I think this is just more evidence that whatever Hermes is doing or is trying to do, something happens during that process causing, the inverse or just triggering something, right? I wonder how many there were. They're saying there were lots of them. Yo, what if we're on the brink of it? Because Hermes is about to take another data point or something. He's gonna do something. Which suggests that either someone will appropriate his discoveries and make use of them, or that Hermes himself will have a hand in causing the final days. Oh, snap. I agree with the latter. It has to be the latter. Since we have no reason yet to suspect the former, we should consider the latter the more likely possibility. Proceeding under that assumption, our next step should be to divine why, or even if, he might desire such a terrible fate for our star. Is it that he's desiring a fate, or he's just happened to lead upon that fate? Or if it was intentional, is it just because he's just so not in agreement with the status quo here? Because we saw how uncomfortable he was with the status quo, but it didn't necessarily feel like, oh, like, I gotta destroy this world to, rebirth it anew again, or something, right? Like, that seems like a step too far, right? Based on who he is. Based on, he seemed like overall like a nice guy, right? I don't know.